This is the Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Voyager class Twincast and Autobot Rewind. Here's a quick look at the awesome box and packaging. Great artwork all around. Evo Fusion, that's the new gimmick for the Legacy Evolution line. I picked up this figure from Robo in Singapore. Let's get this guy out of packaging. Twincast in the Dreamwave continuity was a clone created by Shockwave, and I think it's just Takara Tomi's excuse to just re-release the blaster mold and repaint it into these stark, bright colors of blue, red, yellow, and gray. I mean, you know how it is back in the day. They loved re-releasing molds in different colors and calling them a different character. So, you know, Hasbro, it's in their best interest to reuse the mold, and as such, they did so. Twincast and Rewind are basically the third versions of the mold we got with Blaster and Eject and the Shattered Glass Blaster version. Color-wise, you know what? I think it works. I thought I was going to be very disappointed. I thought I wasn't going to like these new colors, but it's very close to how he looked like in the G1 redeco. I think Hasbro did a wonderful job in trying to recreate that with this light blue and yellow color of plastic that they used. And I think it turned out great. You can see some metallic sky blue or teal paint apps on the shoulder. The yellow paint on the chest is really nice. I'm surprised it looks pretty cool. The only thing that looks cheap with this figure are the red plastic. It looks light and cheap, but when you look at it closely, it's actually pretty good. It has a little bit of a gloss to it. It's some solidness to it. It's actually pretty good. No complaints from me. It comes with the standard blaster or blaster rifle that both original figures also had, and the chest gimmick still works. Some comments about the chest gimmick, we'll talk about that later, but look at the new head sculpt. The new head sculpt is sporting a smile, a smirk, I should say. And if you notice, one eye is bigger than the other. Here is the original face sculpt. It's a very poker face, nonchalant face sculpt from Blaster, as well as this new one. It feels like the right eye is squinting and the left eye is like raising an eyebrow. So yeah, interesting. I do like that. I love that at least they've given us something new about the figure. One thing to note with this figure, unlike the redeco of Siege Soundwave into Siege Sound Blaster, that figure was able to accommodate two cassettes, two minions in his chest, because Hasbro had remolded the chest. And I think Takara Tomy back in the day also remolded the blaster, the G1 Blaster figure, so that it would accommodate two cassettes, just like Sound Blaster. But in this case, this Twincast can only accommodate one cassette. Interesting. Would have been nice if they had done the same thing that they did with Sound Blaster and just really expanded that chest cavity. As far as mold degradation goes, yeah, there's some looseness to it. It's a third version of the mold. It's expected. And here are all three minions. As you can see, it's the exact same mold. They did not change the head sculpt. They just redecoed and repainted, remolded the plastic, recast the plastic, and just added some different paint apps on the figure. Interestingly enough, we still get the humanoid robot minion for this figure, because again, in G1, Takara had released was it Stripes or Steeljaw? I think it was Steeljaw with this figure. And then he got re-released again years later, and they had Stripes with him. So it was an animal minion that came with Twincast. And I think Hasbro is just, I don't know, they're going cheap again with this figure. I mean, I do like the whole set. The whole set feels premium. I think the plastic is pretty good. They didn't cheap out on the plastic, but I do think that they could have given us more with this figure, much like what they did with the Sound Blaster redeco of Siege Soundwave. And it's a shame. It's a shame. They could have done so much more, but I guess they just gave bare minimum requirements, like a new head face sculpt. So, okay. Transform Twincast, weapon off to the side. Head folds back. These things rotate. Fold the feet, rotate the waist, rotate and rotate. The arms, rotate, fold and bend. Rotate, fold and bend. These things, open up the panel, plug in the thighs, and then just fold it over the arms. Same thing on the other side. Go ahead and open, open, fold, tab the thighs, and then fold. Okay, and then the handles, and there you go. Twincast in his boombox alt mode together with rewind. Now, you will notice that the transformation is a lot easier than the original blaster and shattered glass blaster versions of the mold. I don't know if it's because of degradation or they probably fixed some of the clearances. Could be the former. I mean, I think it's really the mold just degrading. But yeah, looks great. I love the colors for some reason. And here are all three of them in their boombox alt modes and cassette alt modes. So the minions obviously can get inside their chest cavity, the tape deck. We'll start with blaster. That in. Pop it out. Okay. Shattered glass blaster. Pop it in. Easy. Twincast, on the other hand, I did notice, it's probably just my copy. I don't know. If you do get your Twincast figure, let me know if you have the same issue as mine. The issue is when you put the cassette, just like what we did, it's a little tight. I don't know if it's because of the thickness of the paint on the chest. Pop him in and he gets stuck. It's not as smooth as the previous versions of the mold. It sort of gets caught somewhere right here. I don't know why, because look at this. This one is a lot smoother. And I tried pushing it down, like to just the most bottom part, as far as it will go down, and it really just gets caught. So, I don't know. Interesting. But, yeah. Some final thoughts on Twincast. Well, I actually enjoyed the figure. I think the figure is not that bad. It's not horrible. It's actually pretty good. I love the colors for some strange reason. I really like the colors. And I think it's a great homage to the old G1 toy. I think Hasbro and Takara Tomy did a wonderful job in redecoing or repurposing this mold into Twincast. I mean, it was expected after we saw the release of both of these blasters. I mean, Twincast was just inevitable. I just wish that they could have given us more with this figure. I do appreciate the new face sculpt. That's great. But I do wish they could have reconfigured and re-engineered the chest area to be akin to what they did with Siege Soundwave in turning him into Siege Sound Blaster, where the chest cavity could fit 2 minions or 2 cassettes. They could have just easily extended this and still have it work, or just moved that back part of the chest a little further. I mean, there was a way to do it. I just feel they didn't even try to do so. But they just wanted to give bare minimum for a redeco, change the head sculpt, that's it. Also, I wish if they didn't get the opportunity to redeco the chest, they could have at least fixed that mechanism so that it doesn't get stuck. And I don't know. I just feel that they held back on this figure. They could have given us more. And, you know, if it was a cost issue, they could have just released this figure as a selects figure instead of part of the main line. So the figure is going to get an 8 out of 10. There's just a lot of missed opportunities for this figure. It's not a horrible figure. I think it's a pretty decent repaint or redeco, remold of the blaster mold. I mean, if you missed out on both of these figures and there's just no way to get them at a reasonable price, then you know what? I think it's a fair substitute. I mean, if you just need the mold on your shelf, you just need some form of blaster on your shelf, I actually think this will work. I mean, it's the cheaper way to go. But obviously, if you have the means to do so, these two figures are the blaster figures to get. You can always save up for them, but if you just need one copy of the mold for your collection, it's probably the cheapest way to do it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Twincast with Rewind. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.